Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dave from PVD Horror, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a film I just got to check out called The Damned. The Damned is currently out in select theaters in the US, UK, and Ireland. Make sure you check out to see if it's in your area and go see it if you can. So, this film is directed by Tudor Paulson. I just butchered that one, I'm pretty sure. But also it stars Odessa Young, who some may know from The Staircase, and Joe Cole, who's in Peaky Blinders and Gangs of London. It's a very interesting film. From what I understand, there's some roots to Norse mythology, as the director, who I mentioned, has Icelandic heritage. So, very interesting film. The premise is basically we have this widow named Eva who has the task of basically she's in charge of this fishing outpost. So she's surrounded by a bunch of men, and she has to make this really tough choice when they can see off in the distance a ship is sinking, and they have to decide whether they are going to save those people or if it will saving them will actually put them in jeopardy as their rations and provisions are all running low. Ultimately, this decision is the thing that ends up haunting them in the end, and it's a really interesting development that happens, and really kind of like highlights how guilt can eat away at us and how it can create, monsters or ghosts that we feel like are following us. So I really loved a lot of elements here. I think there's some really cool themes. The other thing that's like really, really good about this film is the setting is absolutely beautiful. So as I mentioned, they're in this fishing outpost community, and one of the things that is just so striking about it is like the filming locations here are gorgeous. They're out on the water, but they're surrounded by snowy mountains. They're in the cold. It has this interesting way of just being like beautiful while also like isolating and haunting. So absolutely visually stunning, um, and like the perfect location for a film like this that really highlights that idea of being alone while you're also like surrounded by people that you're involved with there. So ultimately, this film, I just have to say, like, the storyline is great. I really enjoyed the story. I was really interested to see where it was going to go. um People who will like this, I think, are the people that really do love psychological horror, and they love films that kind of take time to develop. So you're kind of waiting to see, how is this going to play out? What's ultimately going to happen? There's some elements of like supernatural, or as I mentioned, kind of like mythology or lore. There's this element of like storytelling that's involved, as like even the fishing men themselves are engaged in like storytelling and telling stories from, like lore from the past and things like that. And then it kind of plays out in real time and towards to them. So a lot of great themes here. Um, Slower than what some people who are looking for. I always like to preface this because I know some people love their fast-paced horror. They love the one, the body count building up. This one takes time. The things don't necessarily play out always as big. Sometimes it, takes a little bit for the next thing to happen. But, as I mentioned, I was kind of in it. I like the storyline. So for me, that wasn't a problem at all. I just think that I always like to forewarn people, if you're someone who doesn't mind a slow burn, then this is probably something you will enjoy. Um, my only gripe is I kind of wish even more happened. Like I would love to see even, more during the film. There are some time periods where, it's very story heavy, which is not a problem. And character development was a really important piece of this film. Um, I would love to have seen it expanded a little bit more, but I'm actually fine the way it is. I really liked this film, and it was a nice viewing experience. My only issue for me was I personally didn't get to watch it in theaters. So I am probably going to be one of those people who's going to seek out that select theater to try to be able to view this on the big screen, because I think this film will really play well, especially as I said, with all like the beautiful mountains and the this wonderful setting that they filmed this in. I think will play out really well on the big screen. So again, I'm talking about The Damned, out in select theaters in the US, UK, and Ireland. Make sure you know look this up, find out where it is. If you're in the New England area, I know it's playing in areas in Boston, around there. It's not in Rhode Island, unfortunately, so it's a little bit of a drive for us to seek this out. But yeah, check the local theaters near you, see if it's playing, and let us know what you think. All right, everybody, thank you very much, and we will see you next time for another review. Have a good one.